Hello Disney fans, welcome to my second review, and before we start I wanted to introduce you to somebody. This is my friend Marty. He may or may not be joining us in some of our reviews, and if you hear a dog barking or a collar jingling, I wanted you to know this is him. Meet you? Okay, Marty. Yeah. Today we're going to be talking about the live action remake of Disney's Aladdin. Now the first thing I have to talk about with this is the casting of Will Smith as the genie. Of course, nobody could ever replace Robin Williams, and because of this, there was a lot of negative fan reaction when they heard that Will Smith was cast in a role that is so linked with Robin Williams as an actor. Nobody could ever separate the genie from him, and his performance is a part of all of our childhoods. Will Smith realized this, and he did not want to accept the role at first, but finally he did, and when he did, he realized he had to make the role his own. And if you watch the performance, you'll see there's elements of it that are reminiscent of his days as the Fresh Prince, which was his first ever major role that everybody remembers him from, that made him a household name. And he put his own spin on the character that's really heartwarming. And if he's not the genie you remember, but he is an excellent version of the genie. And I don't think Will Smith could have done a better job of acting him. And what Will Smith realized is, of course, a major theme of the movie, that you have to be yourself. And this is something that we know Aladdin has to realize over the course of the story. So I find it very interesting that that ties in. Now, another element that we have to talk about with regards to Will Smith is the music. Will Smith, of course, has a history as a rapper. And people were a little afraid of what he would do to the songs being a rapper, because these are not rap numbers, these are Disney songs. And he did bring his own musical quality to them, but he did a great job of singing them, in my opinion, especially the Arabian Nights number. He knocked that one out of the park. He really did a phenomenal job with that. His Prince Ali number, there's a lot of people who say it should have been sped up a little bit because they're used to the tempo of the original and they didn't like that change, but a lot of people agree his version of French Like Me was wonderful. And another element of the music that I want to touch on is how they use more traditional instrumentation. There's been comments on the YouTube videos of the soundtrack when it was first, ever since it was first released before the movie even was, that a lot of people loved that the instrumentation was closer to what the instruments from that area and culture would be. And speaking of the Muslim culture for that area, they did make some changes to it that, in my opinion, make it better. I like cultural sensitivity. I don't like any culture being disrespected. And they made some changes in this one to reflect accurate Muslim culture. For example, in Prince Ali, they changed the line "brush up your Sunday salam" to "brush up your Friday salam" because Friday is the Muslim holy day. And they changed some lyrics to Arabian Nights. In fact, they pretty much redid the whole song to reflect that Agrabah, and by extension in the viewer's mind, Arabia, is a magical place. This is a place where you can walk among the bazaars and take in the sun, so you meet other people. And in fact, Jasmine is herself a product of two different countries. Her father is Sultan of Agrabah, of course, but her mother came from another country, which is referenced often throughout the movie. And that is actually an accurate historical representation because at that time period, the Middle East was a major trading hub. It was on your Silk routes. All your traders wanted to go there. Different cultures came there to study. It was a major, major cultural center. So I was glad to see that accurately reflected in the movie. Now, touching on Jasmine, there's a new song for her called Speechless. And this was a number that was missing from the original. They didn't give Jasmine her own song. And a lot of people absolutely love the song. The music is a little different than what you expect in a Disney movie. It's more the kind of song that you would just hear on your radio. And one of the major things that people love about it is it's very inspiring to any group that's ever felt suppressed. Jasmine tells in there how she won't be silent, she won't be speechless. She's going to stand up for herself and her people. And that's a wonderful thing that they do with Jasmine is they have her be much. I don't doubt that she's concerned about her people in the original, but this one really shows how she wants to not just be the wife of the next sultan. She wants to actually be the sultan because she reasons that nobody could care about her people the way she does, being from that country. No foreign prince is going to have the emotional investment in them that she does. And she shows her leadership skills throughout the movie and what will make her a great leader when her time comes. I'm not going to give away any more details with that for those of you who haven't seen the movie, but I will say that there is a pleasant surprise regarding Jasmine at the end. Some of the other character changes aren't quite as positive. Aladdin is not quite as heroic. He isn't quite as moral a character as we remember. Aladdin in the first one does have his flaws. He lies, of course. The biggest, most major lie being that he's someone he's not. He pretends to be Prince Ali. And he realizes that he can't keep up that charade without the genie's help. And that's something that's a different conflict in this one as opposed to the original, is Genie tells him he doesn't care about the third wish being freed. Sure, he would love that, but what really bothers the Genie is that Aladdin is lying to the woman that he loves. And Aladdin gets more focused on the power and the role of being the prince and the change in his life and living the dream of being a prince as opposed to caring about Jasmine. And Genie picks up on that and calls Aladdin out on it. And it's shortly after that that Aladdin realizes the genie's absolutely right. This isn't the right thing to do to Jasmine. It isn't the right way to live. I have to be who I really am. I have to come clean to her. So that was an interesting change, and it shows how Aladdin and Jafar have a lot of parallels. Jafar's stories, backstory is expanded on, and we find out that he wasn't always the palace grand vizier. He wasn't born into any kind of nobility. He was what they call a street rat, of course, in the movie, like Aladdin. He grew up as a thief, and his skills as a thief are seen throughout the movie. And we find out that that's why he can't stand to be second best. Of course, we remember in the original, the way Aladdin tricks him is to tell him that he'll always be second best to the genie, which is how he makes the wish to be the genie, and Aladdin finally wins in the end. But now we see that Aladdin could very easily have fallen into that same exact trap that Jafar did. He could have become too addicted to the power. He could have just been happy to live the life of a prince and cared only about himself and forgotten that he actually cared about the other people in his life. And we see him come to, it's interesting to see him come to this on his own a bit more after a bit more debate, because he walks away from he carries the lamp with him, which I was glad to see. There's Marty again. I thought that was kind of a dumb mistake in the original one of him to make, was to leave the lamp unguarded. This is a major magical device that gives anyone who holds it basically unlimited power for 3 wishes. That's not something you want to leave laying, and Aladdin is too smart for that. And we see that changed in this remake, that he is smart enough to take it with him, but Jafar grabs the lamp off him, uses his skills as a thief. But while he's walking away from his confrontation with the genie, he comes to realize on his own, I can't be this person. In the original, he says to himself, Genie's right, I can't live like this, but he does tend to carry on the charade a little bit. He doesn't try to give up the charade just yet. He tries to carry it farther when he goes to talk to Jasmine. The problem is, of course, by then they're announcing that him and Jasmine are getting married, and he can't back out of it at that point. And it's only after finding out that Jafar has the lamp and he's going to be exposed, that he actually does reveal the truth. He doesn't really reveal it on his own. He doesn't in this new one either, but he was going to had he had the chance. And that's in what was I going to say? Another change with Jafar is they don't have him sing the Prince Ali number, the Prince Ali reprise. And I like that in the original because it was the first time we see a Disney hero song turned against them used by a villain. It makes it extra mocking. It adds a level to it. Jafar saying, this isn't who you are. You're always going to be the street rat. You'll never really be Prince Ali. You can't live this life. And he really plays that up, laughing at Aladdin about it by throwing his own success against him, because Prince Ali is Aladdin's most triumphant number. It's where he's at the height of riding the magical wishes. This is where he's poised for success. And so I kind of missed that, but overall, I love the musical changes in this one. I love the cultural changes. I love the character development that we see a bit more. There's a few pleasant surprises with the genie that I think you're going to love, with some rewards he gets at the end, not just being free. And I really think the viewers are going to enjoy that. So give it a chance, and until next time, remember the magic.